The moods of this class are somewhat different from those of the preceding speaker. I intend to deal with the present crisis, and I have several purposes in mind. At first, I have to correct the title. It says the origin of the present crises. That's a singular confusion. Actually, it should be the origins, plural, of the present crises, plural. There are a number of crises. They go from the economic to the political to the social to the cultural to the psychological, etc. Now, my own experience has been that since the time I could think straight about the society, I've been critical of it. And so the prevailing mood for me has been as much anger as anything else. But recently, I've realized that my mood has changed from anger to fear. Not so much for myself, because I don't expect to be around long enough to see the worst of these results, but I am fearful for my children, and I'm fearful for the children, grandchildren of my friends. Because when I consider the possibilities that some of the welfare procedures that I've gotten used to, such as Social Security, etc., may very well disappear, or may be so revised as to be useless, I'm concerned about the next generation and the generation afterwards. And when I look at the Congress that's just come in, and I look at the report of the Bowles-Simpson Committee, I get more apprehensive still. Now, what I would like to do in this class is two things. First, I want to introduce the basic structures and themes of what's happened in this particular crisis. There have been a number of crises just about every 10 or 12 years in American history since its beginning. There's nothing novel about the fact of crisis. What's novel is that this one is extraordinarily deep and persistent. It is the longest lasting in terms of the inability of people to find jobs. This has been going on now for more than 2 years. I have some handouts that will illustrate this. I have some I can give you in the lobby when this is over. So what we're going to discover, of course, is not that there's a crisis, which we all know, but some ways of approaching and understanding of it. I'd like to be able to discuss with you how to approach a crisis of this sort. In other words, how to learning about economics, which I had to teach myself. My background is, like the previous speaker, in philosophy. I read social and political philosophy, but I never studied economics carefully. And when I began to read people who were writing in popular media about the economic situation, I was struck by the fact that although the situation seems quite foreboding, that is economics, you can begin to teach yourself how to read it. And it strikes me also that if a democracy is going to succeed, it needs to have an educated populace. And we need to be able to understand how we came to this place and how we can conceivably come out of it. So I want not only to deal with the subject matter, I want to deal with the question of how you and I can approach it to make ourselves more intelligent about these issues which affect our lives all the way down to the chaos in Arizona, in my view, because they don't make a distinction ultimately between the insanity of a given individual and the insanity of the social world in which the individual lives. So I hope to see you, and I have some handouts I can give.